Welcome to the conversation. Today's conversation is with Dr. P.P. Devan. And Dr. Devan is a time machine, the time machine that travels to the edge of science, and the time machine that take you to the past through hypnosis. Both sides the time machine travels. I remember my first meeting with Dr. Devan in SDM College Auditorium, where we had a Kalam Walk and Development Talk. We had a series of talks, and once Dr. Devan given the speech, it was told that was the best talk of the day. That is how we got connected. And the thing remained the same. And today we are making a conversation about time machine, beyond science, the discoveries, and anything that comes in the conversation will become part of this episode today. Sir, start with the conversation, sir.
Thank you, Paul, for the recognition, for the appreciation, for the backing, and for the encouragement, without which I would not have reached wherever I have reached on my timeline. But I must appreciate the extraordinary connections that he has. And I tell my postgraduates, beyond a point in life, it is your networking and connections that will take you to the next level. And that's something my postgraduates have to learn from Mr. Paul. We can grow to an extent, but beyond that, life's progress is based on whom we know and how we interact and how they promote us and encourage us and take us to the next level. And that's a concept called NQ, which seems not to have come into mainstream teaching, but that's something we must aggressively pursue and educate the upcoming generation.
Sir, you are always updated with knowledge. In your area of medicine, you are the master in almost every major segment of medicine. You have the cure through the highest research lab, that is the inside unconscious mind. You search in the lab inside, get clue, and bring great outcome for resolving so many issues. Please enlighten us a few of them, sir.
That is a little risky because when we go beyond the edge of science, I need to have my contemporaries and peers acknowledge and approve. Until it becomes mainstream science, I know I am on tender grounds. But I must tell you one thing, although I do not have political or religious, I repeat again, although I do not have political or religious leanings, few texts I will quote. And the Bible says, seek and you will receive. We need to realize that many of us, we don't seek. We think from various, no, that's not the way. We need to actively pursue and seek the answer from the depths of our subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind is a massive reservoir of the mankind's knowledge. Somewhere located within it, its deepest crevices are answers to almost anything that we desire. And using that analogy, therefore, I sought and the answer came. The thing is, if you seek, the universe will conspire to make your dream come true. That I suppose came from Paul Coelho, I suppose. But that's how it is. You must have an overwhelming desire to relieve mankind of its terrible sufferings, and then the answer will come. So many difficulties, so many patients suffering from so many things. And I ask myself, how can I relieve them? Because once I need to clarify, you know what my teacher said? Cure rarely, comfort often, console always. Why? Many of the difficulties that we have, the science says you cannot cure it. You can only treat it. So my teacher said, I will not name the teacher. This teacher said, cure rarely, comfort often. But today, having broken ground in a variety of ways, I always tell my postgraduates, cure always, comfort often. And in the very rare instance that you cannot cure, then you need to give solace. So that's the mantra that I am now espousing in order that students should realize, never say, I can't cure it. In contemporary allopathic medicine offers so many incredible cures, we will be amazed at what is really possible. And we have broken ground, especially through the very many research that my postgraduates have undertaken in their postgraduate quest, having been peer reviewed and cleared by the ethical committee and accepted by the universities. So many fantastic things we have done that will amaze us as to what all grounds we have been able to break.
You are the best communicator I have ever come across. And when you speak, even the air stands still and listen to that. I have even given your recording to somebody without the visual much impact. Even then, hearing your voice, everybody listen from beginning to end. What is the secret of your communication, the power of your communication?
Paul, let me tell you, one of the talks that I intend to give our academic clinical society here is how I speak, what I spoke, the gift of oration. Now, I need to underline the gift of oration. No, it's not a gift. Maybe a few will have a gift, but you must have that overwhelming desire. And my colleague, the professor said, you seem to have a burn in your belly. You must have that burn in your belly to improve. You can't even imagine. I was a very poor communicator. I had very little resources. My language is mediocre. And of course, my knowledge was limited. So I have specifically addressed each of these concepts. You need to specifically focus on it. Only then the world will open. If you look at my thyroid, if I'm just giving a demo, one of the demo, if my Adam's apple is higher up, I will have a higher pitch. I was made the recipient of so many jokes because my voice is feminine. If you have a deficit, it is the universe telling you, listen, you can improve. And I have put in tons and tons of work to look at how the Adam's apple, using in my field what I call laryngeal depressors, and I will bring my Adam's apple far deeper down and develop what is called a chest register. Guys or males with a deep, powerful chest register instantly attracts attention. That's one. Number two, of course, I know I need to be cautious, but I come from UK, that is Upper Kerala, where the Mallu English has an overwhelming influence on linguistic skills. So early morning 4:30, I used to listen to Phil Irwin, Voice of America. When they read the English news very slowly, I would pick one word, write it in a book, and 1,000 times I will practice until I have error free. I used to read books which said fantastic fiction books. Many people during studies they say don't touch any fiction books, but I used to read that, pick one sentence and then perfectly structured sentence and write it in a book and memorize that endlessly until it flows. I used to read very many non-fiction books, identify paragraphs, write it in my book of paragraphs and memorize it. Truth is a statement of facts, things which are not the figments of imagination or fevered brain, but state of quality of being in accordance with experience. And so many paragraphs until it is error free. And then, of course, we need to have a very clear pitch, tone, delivery, syntax, and the undefinable quality of voice, which is called a timbre. And I have addressed each one of them. Many people say, oh, it's a gift. I was born with it. No, I have spent an enormous amount of time on my voice, on my diction, on my delivery, on my syntax, on my clarity, on my pronunciation, on my verbiage, on my delivery. And speech, when I give, I will write it in detail, pages of it. I am not like President Obama who will give fantastic speeches without, no, I will write an entire speech, redraft it n number of times until it is error free, and I will memorize it word to word because we don't have what is called teleprompter. So, no pain, no gain, through the thorns to the stars. But if you put in an enormous effort, the universe will gift you what you richly deserve. That's how it is, Paul.
You told it, sir. It is error free. Your talks are error free. Your treatments are error free. And it is so fantastic. I remembered about one NLP principle. If you take information in chunks of 5 or 7, 3, 5 or 7 unit wise, if you input information unit wise, you can store any amount of information in the mind, and you are an encyclopedia of information in several areas. Can you tell me a day where you have not learned anything?
That is something I encourage all of you because that is paradise on earth. When I was with my family in Switzerland, that's a place you must go. And you simply relax in the fantastic scenic villages of Switzerland. That is when you don't need to learn anything. You are in heaven. I was in heaven in Switzerland in some of those villages, so green, so fantastic, wonderful cows with those Swiss bells clanging as they walk, and such loving, caring people. That is the time that I was in true great heaven and paradise when I did not take any effort to learn anything. And I encourage, because that is heaven on earth. I all of you to go to Switzerland and spend some time there. Oh my God, that is heaven on earth. Otherwise, I must emphasize. I mean, it happens in me. I don't know why, but somehow I'm driven to imbibe knowledge. Maybe it is to teach students, or somehow, I do not know what time you wake up, others wake up, but I sleep early and then get up at 2:30 in the morning. That's called Brahma Muhurta. Again, I have no religious feelings, but that's the time when the earth is still and you can hear, it seems, the earth's heartbeat. The earth also has a heartbeat, and when you get up at that time when the world is still and the ocean of knowledge on the internet is now available at the click of a switch, of course, in order to be the best, you must be the very best. Otherwise, quicker, faster, younger, far more brilliant boys and girls will come into your field and wipe us out of business. So I must be at the cutting edge of knowledge primarily to sustain my work in whatever work I'm doing. That's what everybody should do. There should not be a single individual more knowledgeable than you. If it is so, it means you are second level. No, whatever, it's not that I can do everything. Most of the things I can't do. But in the areas that I'm focusing on, there should be nobody more knowledgeable than me in that area. That's the prime directive and aim any enterprising individual must be. So in order to do that, I get up at about 2:30 in the morning and score the world and wherever the newer things are happening. And that is when we have this concept called SWOT. Any venture we are having, we must have the SWOT analysis: strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. So, therefore, what are my threats in any area? What of my focus is? Is there anybody else doing better work than me? Or what are my opportunities around the world? That is something which unfortunately which is not taught in professional schools. You must continuously reinvent yourself to be the very best in whatever tiny corner area that you're working in.
You have straight away came to professionalism. I was
Yes.
about to ask you, tell something about professionalism, sir.
The sad fact, Asocham is a group of business enterprises, and they did a survey and found that 94% of students passing out of professional colleges are unprofessional and cannot be employed. It is sad that professionalism as a separate, independent, standalone course is not taught in professional colleges. Once we come out of as a professional, there's so many things. Yesterday, my talk in the other college was we extended for about an hour and a half. And today morning, I met a few faculty. They said, we have never heard a talk of that caliber and that depth. Professionalism is something that must be absolutely ingrained in us. Otherwise, it is very difficult to stay in the business of whatever we are doing. So, in that regard, there is a huge amount of topics to be dealt with. A few things I will say as a professional, I must be number one, the first to come, last to go. Number two, avoid unnecessary loose talks. Number three, have diamond hard integrity. Number four, my word should be law. If I commit a word, I will make it happen. And number five is that I am absolutely reliable. And number six, appropriateness. I will conduct in a manner appropriate to the situation. With my group of friends, I can behave in a one way, but when I'm doing a job in an organization, I should behave in an appropriate way. So all of these are very important concepts that one must imbibe, ingrain, inculcate, demonstrate, and practice. Of course, these words are just flowing out because I have taken the trouble to take one word, write its meaning, put it in my notebook, 1,000 times memorize and practice it, and thousands of words. When you start talking from the various recesses of your subconscious mind, words will just flow out like that. But that's because not because of any automatic this thing, or because it is because I have put in that effort to do this.
Dr. Devan's words are like M.F. Hussein's painting strokes. Anything which is stroke, which is sold for millions of rupees. Likewise, Dr. Devan's words, every word is worth hearing and imbibing. And the philosophy, what is told, is simple but very profound. And there is no effort means no result. It is everyday learning, every moment learning. Even when in Switzerland, where you are telling you are at heaven, there also maybe you must have learned so many things, sir. What are the messages from Switzerland you can bring to the people of India?
Yeah, it is when you land in Switzerland, you realize what a fantastic country, number one. And number two, their political system is so stable. People are so happy. They are so well looked after. And the carbon footprint is so meager and negligible. and everybody is happy, everybody is contented, their behavior is so fantastic. Well, we must have a wonderful defining political system, I suppose. I suppose, I'm not really sure. But the way that country is evolved and the way it is a heaven, all over the world, people crave to go to Switzerland for a visit. So many things to learn from them, because the way they have, that is something that we need to realize. Everybody, in our case, for example, every Indian should be fully trained as a soldier. Look at what is happening in Ukraine. And before that, I always place the example of, unfortunately, our prime, like in Switzerland, they have obtained neutrality, but their defense is so strong. Look at this poor little country of Tibet. They did not have that focus on being very strong, highly competent. Everybody is a soldier. They relied on a religious way of track of a thing, and ultimately, suddenly one fine day, China came and gobbled them. That should never happen to any country. And I'm saying, somehow the systems of the world should be somehow. I hope Tibet, the wonderful Potla Palace and the small little kingdom of Tibet, will get its independence and live the wonderful life they once upon a time lived. So we need to learn from Switzerland how it maintains its integrity. Nobody will ever dare touch it. Everybody is a fully trained soldier. They have a certain amount of training, and the country is so fabulously wealthy. The way they have fine-tuned their financial system, that I hope these things will happen in India during at least our lifetime, Mr. Paul.
The conversation can go for longer time, but we are breaking the episode and we'll be continuing the episodes further. Please give one single message for the youngsters to conclude the session, sir.
One message: do unto others what you would have others done unto you. Do unto others what you would have others done unto you. And see yourself in a mirror. What you give forth to the world will come back to you. Give good, good will come. Give bad, same thing too. So you are the captain of your ship, you are the master of your destiny. You write your own future with a golden pen. No one can save you from error or sin unless you listen to your spirit within. That is the few lines I am quoting from a Mauryan prayer. No one can save you from error or sin unless you listen to your spirit within. God bless.
So wonderful. Thank you very much, sir. We'll catch up with another episode soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.